It does pay off to go. And honestly, like super, super just transparent here. If you don't make an effort to come to convention, because it's in Nashville, which is pretty central. So like flights, cars, whatever way you can make it to get there. If you don't do that, guys, you're doing yourself and your business a huge, huge, huge disservice, because I've watched the people that come and their lives are changed. And I've watched the people, and the belief is just like, if you were here, you're now like 10 times more into this business and into this company, and getting to hear speakers talk and getting to see all the action and the extravagant events and the parties, and getting to talk to the CEO and president, and meeting all these people, and just watching, like you can just feel the excitement and hype, and it's so worth going. So yes, exactly, Lupe. I know that there's a virtual option, which guys, that just started like after COVID or during COVID when they did the virtual thing. Before that, that wasn't even an option. Like it wasn't even on the table. So if you can, like any amount of effort that you can put into this, please make sure to get to the convention in person. I would say do the virtual if that's like you literally have like no other option, you can't make it 100%. I know some people have like a wedding that day, something like that, where you're already committed to that. If you don't have anything that's crazy extreme like that, please make it. We have the best time. We go to lunch, we all get to hang out, we all get to dress up and take pictures together, and it's like we all went to prom together. Like it was just the best. It was just the best time ever. We got Robin into this sexy red dress last year. It was just the most fun ever. So please, if you haven't registered yet, get registered. Come with us. We're going to have the best time. Nashville is one of my favorite places in the whole world. So you can't even help it but have a good time there. It's the best thing ever. So anyway, Meg, did you want to follow up with that? Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, so I will piggyback on that. It is amazing. Our first year, yes, we were stuck in a house, a bunch of people we didn't know, but we had one of our guest speakers there, our dear friend Abe Emily. We made a song about her, and now she's our guest speaker tonight. So that was super fun. Being in person last year, though, was just so mind-blowing. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people just pouring belief into you. While it is fun to go out to dinner and lunch and see new places and tour with your friends, and the parties, oh god, the parties are insane. You will never imagine a Plexus party if you have not been to one. While that is insane, there's something to be said with just the training that they're giving us. They are giving us the best speakers that there are, and you are learning, and you are just taking in everything. And then to watch your leaders, the people that you look up to and admire, and we've all watched their diamond documentaries or just learned their stories and things like that, and watching them walk across stage, it's just incredible. Like I can't say enough good things about convention, really.
It really was the best time. And it's so cool because you can like meet all these other sideline people that aren't on our team, like in person. And some of my greatest friends are girls from other teams that I wouldn't have met if I didn't go to these events. And then you can, feed information off each other. You can hang out together, just get to know everybody. So anyway, that was my spiel on convention. Please get there. If you guys get there, or if you're registered tonight, or in the next couple days, message me and let me know so I can shoot you a little fun gift. Okay, so I'm so excited about this. We got to hear, I don't know if everybody was on the Zoom last night, we got to hear Emily speak a little bit about her experience through the weekend with Daniel G. But I've gotten to know, when I first started Plexus, I was like, oh my God, Emily, like she had this great testimonial. Like it was just, I thought she was like the bee's knees. I was like fangirled over her. I was so excited. She was like the cutest thing in the entire world. And her Facebook name was Abe Emily. And so like, it was like her and her husband's account. And I swear, like, I just thought that was her name. Like, I had no idea that her, her husband's name was Abe and her name was Emily. Like, it didn't even connect in my head. So that's why we call her that still. She changed it now, but I want to introduce you to her because she has a very, very inspiring story, health-wise, business-wise, like all the things. And I thought that you guys would be really, really able to relate to her, because there's a lot of us where we climbed really fast and then, like our points kind of went lower, and then we climb and then we get lower and climb and we get lower. And that's normal, guys. I want you to know that that's normal. And I could have 10 million speakers come on our Zooms and everybody's going to say the same thing. So I want Emily to just take it over, kind of tell us about, oh,
Oh,
um, your history with Plexus, when you started, all the whole like journey of it so far, and then we can kind of get into like what you're doing now and how you're crushing it and doing amazing things. Guys, she just ranked Senior Ruby the other day on like the 22nd of the month before subs run. She has already ranked it. So like huge props to you, girl. Like I love watching you just shine. So
well, hi. Oh my gosh. Well, listen. I don't know anybody that doesn't fangirl over Megan Ashman. So for you to say that about me is kind of unreal. Hi everybody. I'm Abe Emily. Yes, that's me. I actually started my business in 2019 when I bought my first package, and I honestly, like when we're in these Zooms and stuff, you kind of forget to talk about your health journey, but I do, like they did give me my life back. A month into my products, I didn't even feel like the same person. And then my mom, who has lupus, like she couldn't even hardly walk. And then 2 months in, she jogged a 5K. And like, it's just incredible. The change that the products have made in my family and all the people that I know, really. So I immediately started working the business because I feel like when you start your products, you're like, how am I going to be able to afford this? And then, it's kind of one of those things where you feel like, you're nervous about your business, but you're telling your friends, like, I am trying these, and it just kind of accidentally happened for me. Like I was silver and I didn't even realize it. And that's really kind of how good Marianne is. So she doesn't even make you feel like you're running a business. And then all of a sudden you have one. So, so I ranked Ruby in 2020. That took me a year. So from May of 2019 to April of 2020. It's funny, we were talking about Magical April last night on the call, and I didn't even put it together. But I ranked Ruby in 2020 in the month of April, and I was so excited. Like I had this great team, and it was a girl I've known her whole life, and like she's incredible, and her testimony was amazing, and we had this great team together. And then a month after I ranked Ruby, she had to quit her business because she was losing money for college, and she made too much with Plexus. So they were going to take all of her grants for college. So she quit. She canceled her subscription, like quit all of it. And my mindset's something that I always have struggled with, always. I didn't realize it was a mindset thing at the time. I just thought that I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is for me. I always had those thoughts in the back of my head that I wasn't good enough. And I'm sure a lot of you have been there, but I could never shake that feeling ever. And I think you do the 7-layer why that Megan was talking about last night, and you figure out like what it all is. And I'm not going to go all deep on y'all, but I just had terrible mindset, a terrible self-worth, terrible self-confidence. And so honestly, I just made a lot of excuses about why I couldn't do this. I had a full-time job, and, Marianne was able to build her business because she's home all the time. And, I would just make all of these excuses of why it wouldn't work, and why it was working for other people, but it wasn't for me, and why they had an advantage and I didn't. And I kept doing that, and I couldn't shake it. So in 2021, I made notes. So if you see me looking down, it's because I wanted to stay on track. But in 2021, I went to this giant house in Orlando with all of these amazing women, and I met the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. And and a lot of you are on here, and I still think you're the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. And I got out of my bubble. I got out of the bubble where my hometown and the people that treated me a certain way my whole life. And the things that people said I was is what I believed I was. And then I met all these women, and they like loved me. And I was like, what on earth is so special about me? And like people thought I was funny. And like, I remember I stood out in the parking lot of that house. I kid you not. And I cried to my husband on the phone. And I was like, I don't even know what these people see in me, but they see something in me that I just don't see. And I don't understand it. And he, of course, he's like, I've been telling you this for 20 years. You're freaking amazing. Live that out. And I'm like, I don't see it in my hometown. I don't see it in my normal life. And I went home with that church camp feeling, and I still didn't believe it because I came back to the exact same situation that I left in. And I listened to what everybody else said I was. And I listened to what they, the lid that they had put on me. And everybody has that. I know you all have that. Your family, your friends, and you really are who you hang out with. That's the main thing I always tell my kids is I don't care. You can try to be a certain way, but you are going to be who you hang out with. That's it. And whatever influence you're taking in your life, that's what you're going to be. And at the time, I was hanging on to all of these things that I thought I needed to fulfill my life. I was a cheer coach, and we were in this certain like sports crowd, with school sports and all these, and these parents that our kids had grown up with their kids, and they were our friends. And I was being who I thought they needed me to be, or that they said I was. And I kept fighting that feeling. So, I just kept making excuses. So then fast forward to 2022, a whole year later, I'm still fighting those mental, like mind game, mindset demons. And I'm still working my full-time job. And I tell you what, Marianne would send me so many podcasts about mindset and about like being positive, and she never gave up on me. And I honestly kept telling myself, like, I don't even know what she sees in me, but I'm going to keep going. Honestly, it was like, I felt responsible to her. Like, she's put in so much effort in me. I cannot quit because I mean, she must see something. So if nothing else, I can't let Marianne down. I just kept telling myself that. And so in 2022, I went to convention. And it's very interesting that you guys were talking about how important convention is, because Abe and I were going through a place in our life where our boys had graduated high school and football was no longer a thing. And we were wanting to move out of areas of our life. I was no longer a cheer coach. I had said no to that. Sometimes I feel like we don't say no to some things that we need to say no to, that we're holding on to these things that's in our life that are keeping us that person that we're trying to move away from. And you have to say no to some things that are not bad sometimes to get the better yes. So again, I went to convention in 2022, and God just started speaking to me while I was there. I hated my job. All I wanted to do was be home with my kids. That's all I ever wanted to do. And the reset came out during convention, and Abe was there. Abe came to convention with me, like as my guest for the winner's dinner and things. And I'm just going to go back. I should have mentioned this. Since 2020, I had never re-ranked Ruby. Since 2020, I had never had 500 points since I ranked in April of 2020. Okay. So 2 years later, in June of 2022, I'm at convention, and I am barely hitting like 200 points. Like I am trying my hardest to keep 200 points. And God started speaking to me about moving away from my job and going all in my business and in my mindset, and making my business a priority for my family. So I started praying about it, and I talked to Abe about it. And Abe even said, honestly, if you're going to quit your job, this reset really might be the thing that helps your business. So let me just say, there's no product that's going to make your business. It's you that's going to make your business. But so I made the decision in July to quit my job. Okay. So that was exciting. I felt like because I had obeyed God and, said no to that he was blessing our family. Now, what was my business growing? No, but Abe and I were getting closer together. We were able to start buying animals and doing the farm life thing. And we were, I started my charcuterie business. So things were going great, and it didn't have anything to do with Plexus at this point, but I was obedient to the Lord and he was blessing my family. Okay. So I want to make that clear, is that the obedience that I had, and it was hard because that was a steady paycheck. Right. And I had not replaced my income yet. So moving on through July, I'm looking through my notes here. So, all right. In November, we had cash for Christmas, right? And I did not make any extra cash for Christmas. Okay. None. And we were struggling financially. As a family, we were struggling. So if you are at a place where your business is not where it needs to be and you are struggling financially, I feel you. I feel you. And you're kind of feel like a phony because you're telling people this is your answer. And you're like, is it? I don't know. And you don't know if you believe it, but you're like, it's make it or break it time. So on December 1st, I was sitting on my couch and I was feeling excruciatingly disgusted with myself because I had just messed up our whole Christmas. And I thought that was our money. That was our Christmas money. I have nothing to buy Christmas presents for my kids with. Nothing. And I was devastated and I was broken. And Marianne sent me a voice message. I will never forget it. And she said, I could cry. This is the first time I've told this story. She said, I'm really proud of you for pushing till the very end and never quitting. If there's anything that I can count on is that you're going to work until the very end and you're not going to give up. So I sat for 20 minutes and I bawled like a baby on my couch because I still felt so defeated. And what in the world did she see in me at this point? I had brought no points to her, barely 150. My check was going to be nothing for December. And I had screwed up Christmas for my whole family. And we have 4 kids. So it was hard. In December, I was so depressed. I didn't want to celebrate Christmas. I had to try my best to pull myself together. And it was really, really hard. So in January, I wrote some things down. On January 1st, actually on December 25th, I made a decision that I was never going to let myself feel that ever again. I was never going to let my family go through that kind of month ever again. And I was never going to be responsible for my family lacking anything because I felt very responsible for that. Because honestly, if we can go back to it, I didn't put in the effort 90 days before November. So how do I expect to get a good result in November when, October, September, and August, I wasn't putting in the work? And I am a true believer in the 90-day effect. What you put in today, you're going to see the result of that in 90 days. And I am 1,000% proof of that because I started kicking it into gear in November and I expected these results and what didn't happen. So then in January, I wrote some things down and I will just, what I did was I went backwards. I started my map for the year as I was writing it, New Year's Eve of 2023. So on December 25th of 2023, I'm just going to read you a little piece of it. This is what I expected on January 1st to have by December of 2023. So I wrote, by March 1st, I re-ranked Ruby. Or by March, I re-ranked Ruby. I ranked Emerald in July. Earning a trip to Mexico. Abe and I went in October, and it was everything I dreamed it would be. Earning this rank gave me a sense of pride in myself. I feel like the process of getting this, for us was so hard, but I learned how to dig deep and push. I learned how to trust myself and work instead of being paralyzed by my negative mindset. One more thing. My Plexus paychecks after July, when I ranked Emerald, have stayed between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. That has changed our entire life. We quickly paid off our debt, and we used every bit of money we didn't need to live on to pay things off. After that, we've been putting Abe's check in savings, his whole check. We used our car bonus to pay off my car, and then we paid off the house. It feels amazing to be debt-free. We have plenty in savings to make a down payment on our dream house that we will spend this year. Our lives feel completely different than they did on January 1st, just because of discipline. So I chose discipline as my word for 2023. Megan, stop. So I chose discipline as my word for 2023. And so I was never one to be on Instagram. I don't know how to do Instagram very well. And I always felt inadequate in that area. So one thing I started doing was listening to everything Daniel G told me to do. And I did it. I got up at 5 a.m. Let me tell you something. If you cannot get out of bed, because I was that person, that was an excuse I made. I just can't get up. I moved my phone away from my bed so that I had to get up to turn off my alarm. Everything's figure outable, guys. Just figure it out. Start with something small and work your way up to the hard stuff. So then I listened to Jesse Lee, I listened to Daniel G, and I started going to Instagram and started doing the hashtag thing that Daniel G tells you to do. And I can give you guys a guideline of that, like a guide of how to talk to people on Instagram. I tell you what, though, in my whole business, I've only added one VIP from Instagram, but the act of going to Instagram and starting conversations was so uncomfortable for me that it changed my whole business, because I was talking to people that I was so, I felt so inadequate to talk to, all of these strangers and this whole big world. I was just very uncomfortable, but doing that, I felt this like confidence. It gave me this overwhelming confidence, and it allowed me to carry that posture into my business. And that's how I ended up getting Cassie, that is my Ruby. She was my customer in 2020, and she came back, and look at her. So it was my posture. My posture in 2020 was not the same. I was not the right leader for her in 2020. I was not ready to lead her in 2020. I had not done the work to do that yet. And when I put in the work, and when I started doing things uncomfortable and disciplining myself, because listen, you got to have hard conversations with yourself. And I can't remember the guy's name that wrote the book that was on our call a few weeks ago. I can never remember people's names, but he wrote the book. Keith Callahan. Thank you. He talks about not what you're willing to do, but what are you not willing to do? Start there. Start checking that stuff off, because that's the stuff that's going to take your business to the next level. I promise you. So, be disciplined, protect your mindset, guys, protect your mindset. If somebody's constantly yakking in your ear that makes you feel like you can't do this, cut them off, get them out. I still love these people that I cut off of my mental health, but I can't be around them every day because they make me feel like I can't do this. And the last thing that I wanted to say is I was at Ruby's retreat, and I was going to say this last night on the call, but I forgot. And then I think it's meant for you guys, not for them. But I was in this room with all of these amazing women last weekend, and some of you guys were there. Emily Roberts and Jenna and Danielle G even, and Marianne and Jennifer Cobb, all of you guys. Like in 2021, I felt so inadequate around y'all. And if Daniel G had walked in the room in 2021, I would have been like, I don't even know what to do with myself. Like, not because I'm starstruck, but because I feel like crawling under a rock because I just don't belong there. But as I listened to these people talk, they sounded so human, right? And it's my mindset. I went in with a completely different mindset, and it made me think to myself, we all belong there. We all belong in that room. Every single one of you guys belong in that room. You are not, Daniel G is not any higher than you. Jenna is not any higher than you. Marianne, Emily Roberts, they're not any higher of a level of a person than you. Their story isn't any different. It can be you. Just insert your name instead of theirs. It's just, it's nothing. So that's really my biggest takeaway from Ruby Retreat, is that right there, is that I belong in that room. And there's nothing that's going to stop me at this point. And to be honest with you, I think I may rank Emerald a month before my book says that I might. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. That's all I got.
OMG, that was freaking so good. I think everybody's crying. I think that was just so inspiring. And even just like knowing you for the past few years, like you've got this fire that you didn't have before. Like like I can feel it in you, it's just so awesome. And it's one of the best parts about this business is like when people catch that fire and they're just like, I am unstoppable. Like I can do whatever I set my mind to. I have knocked the walls down. I have crossed off every boundary. Like I'm doing the things and I'm showing up, and you're just amazing. I'm so freaking proud of you. Like just getting to see you succeed is just the best part of all of this. So thank you so much for sharing that. We've got 2 minutes. Does anybody have any questions real fast, or one question or anything? I don't know. Everybody's still crying, so probably not.
Me too, guys. It's fine.
So good. I want to just like blast this video everywhere. I'm gonna call Genevieve and have you speak at convention. I'm like, get her everywhere. It's just so good, so good. Thank you for sharing.
Hey, Megan, can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, Robin.
Okay, Emily. So, like, what was like? Because I'm like, my testimony is a lot like yours, about quitting my job because I know that's what God wanted me to do. But it's like I feel like I put myself in a box, like with who I am in contact with, or like what helped you break out of that box? Because I feel like you know what I'm talking about. That it just confines you to where you feel like you can't, or you're not making the progress that you need to. So,
well, okay, so I fought for years because I felt like our team was a certain way. And it's no secret that there's a whole half of our team that is like an Instagram team. And I wasn't getting anyone from Instagram, and I couldn't get anybody to follow me on Instagram. And like, I just couldn't get the hang of it. And it didn't matter what I did. I changed it. I did something different. I would, I don't know. I just couldn't figure it out. So Jennifer Cobb said something to me in 2021 at the big house. And I was asking them, like, what do I do to build my Instagram? Because our whole team was Instagram. And I was like, I need to be like you guys. So if I'm going to do what you tell me to do, then how do I build my Instagram? How did you do it? And Jennifer Cobb said to me, she said, the reason that our businesses were built on Instagram was because that was our network. And she said, so you need to go where your network is. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I thought, wait a minute, I'm trying to make a network over here, or make like this be my network, but I have this whole untapped area over here. And just because like it's not the way Jennifer Cobb did it, or or Megan Zott or Sonia or Megan Ashman. It's not the way they did it. That doesn't mean that that's not the way I'm going to do it, or that's the way I'm going to do it. So I had to just go back to when I first started and the way that I was talking to people on Facebook. And like Facebook's a free for all. Like you can post that you're selling one thing and then the next day you're selling something else and nobody's going to blink an eye. Like Facebook is a free for all. So like I would just say, go where your network is and still go to the thing that makes you uncomfortable and reach out to those people and reach out in that area, but go back to where you started, because that's going to be where if I think I know you like I know you, you probably started out recruiting your whole church. Yeah. So the best thing I would say is to tap root into those people, because you want their aunts and uncles. And one thing I found with my team is that they all have people in different states, and they didn't realize that they had this network outside of Kentucky. And we just added a girl on our team from Florida. And so we're starting this thing, Marianne. I'm over time. I'm so sorry. But Marianne had this thing that she used to do in Mary Kay, and it was the big map, and it's break the map. So they would have we're doing this whole thing, like we're trying to get into all 50 states. So we're trying to figure out who we know that knows somebody in Texas or Idaho or New York or wherever, because we're going to get into those states. So I don't know if that really answers your question, Robin, but
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes. Thank you.
Love that. That's a fun idea too. We should all strive to do that. Print out a little map and get somebody from each state. Awesome.
I have a quick question. Emily, are you approaching people with the products or the opportunity, or both, before they sign?
I'm not approaching anybody about products anymore. I have not approached anyone about products since maybe February. But anybody on Instagram that I was uncomfortably messaging back in January, February, I've never once asked them to try my products unless they didn't want the business. And then I send them a sample. You know what? It's okay. Let me send you a sample for your trouble. Thanks for having this talk with me. What's your address?
Love it.
Love it.
But there's one thing you guys probably need to know is that my team has grown with 0 rebates.
Oh yeah, you said that.
We've given 0 discounts at all, not one. So I feel like it discounts your business. It discounts your product. If you discount your product, you discount your product. And it was like an eye opener for me, because March 31st, we added all these people, right? Well, there was a bunch we didn't, but on April 1st, they all came in because we had no discount. So it was the same price the next day. And it was so eye-opening for me. The momentum kept going. So now we don't have to worry about the 28th subs, because we have April 1st subs, and we have May 1st subs and May 5th subs and May 10th subs. So we don't have to count down to the 28th.
I love that. Thank you. I know we're going to get kicked off here because I keep forgetting to upgrade. We got kicked off last week with the guest speaker, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the poor kid that hasn't upgraded my sorry. But thank you so much again. We'll be raving about this call forever now. So thank you so much. I'll send you the link too, because we recorded it, so you can share it with your people, whatever. But thank you times 1,000. It was fabulous. So inspiring.